Oh yeah, fifth grade. Mr. Krug coming back at you. It is time for the most challenging star chart in our series. But first off, you know what's coming. Let's raise it, everybody. Ooh, 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 ooh. Threw a bonus one in there. Probably fourth grade right now is across the hall, and they're like, dang, what are those fifth graders doing? They're crazy. So some things that can help us out for this one. Notice we have our colored pencils, and I try to make them look a little fancy. I arrange them in order of star color with temperatures. Remember, blue or blue-white stars are our hottest stars. White stars are still pretty hot. And let's be real, white colored pencils hardly do anything, but I want to throw it in there to make the set. Then our star is a yellow star. Yellow is about average on the star temperature spectrum. Then cooler stars are orange, and then really cool stars are red stars. And remember, fifth grade, when we say cool stars, that doesn't mean like ice cubes or polar bears or penguins. That means about 3,000 degrees Celsius. Our sun is about average. It's about 6,000 degrees Celsius. And then these really hot stars can get between 10 and 20,000 degrees Celsius. Absolutely insane. All right, so we don't want to try this chart, our T chart, without a little bit of help. So what I would totally recommend having on your desk is your coloring sheet that we've already done. And if you don't have that, or your mom accidentally threw it away, or you sold it on eBay for some mad money, definitely have this one out, fifth grade. So notice this one's our 01 or our 001 chart. This one's our T chart, okay? Definitely have this one out, because what we are going to do now is we are going to transfer these shapes on to this chart here. Now, on one hand, it can be a little bit tricky to try to transfer all these shapes over from scratch. But here's the nice thing. On this chart, look how much extra business we have. We've got our winter sky, but then we got some fall sky over here. We got a little bit of spring sky with Leo the lion saying, hey, look at me, look at me, look at me over here. But we just want this action right here, wintertime sky. So we can start to transfer that over, and then you're going to have something really nice to study. Now, how I do it with my students is I recommend using the same two colors. Look, you can use them like drumsticks too. Same two colors that you did on your 01 chart. Use that for the T chart. And I'm probably going to divide this video into two parts, because this is going to take me a little bit. And notice I got a really nice tight shot, because I want you to see your star charts really well. Lastly, if you want to use a ruler, this is definitely the chart to do it on. I hate to keep flexing on you, fifth grade, I really do. But look at this ruler right here. One of my teacher buddies gave that to me when we opened the Mountain Lion Observatory. I know your ruler probably isn't quite as nice as my ruler, and I know that probably makes you feel a little bit bad, but maybe someday you'll have a really awesome astronomy ruler like me too. So any ruler is going to do. All right, so let's start with the dominant constellation in our wintertime sky, everybody. And that's going to be Orion the Hunter. So remember, fifth grade, we're not going to trace everything in Orion here. We're just going to trace the stars that actually make part of our stick figure, okay? Because sometimes, if you ever take a picture of the night sky with your cell phone, you're going to be like, whoa, wait a minute. There are so many stars up there right now. Where'd all these other stars come from? Remember, our star charts do not show every single star. There's way more stars up there. They only show the brighter, more dominant stars. And they show down to a magnitude of 6. So if you remember, magnitude is kind of silly. It's kind of a little bit backwards. The negative numbers are the really bright ones. Like Sirius checks in at a -2. And then 6 is about the naked eye limit. And just remember, when I say naked eye, that doesn't mean anything silly or bad. That just means down to the limit of what your eyes can see. So we've got our main body of Orion with his belt of 3 stars. If you want, you can throw in a little color to officially connect stars. Now, the challenge with Orion, fifth grade, is he's got a very dim club arm, which, if you remember, he's using that to battle Taurus the bull. And then he's got a shield. So take your time on the club arm. Try to match up your stars with the ones that you outlined on your 01 chart. So see, that's why I really like to have both of them together. When you've got your 01 chart out, it's a lot easier then to find those same stars right down here. Okay, so we got our club arm, and then we've got to add the hunter's shield that he's using to protect himself. But if you remember from class, Orion technically probably didn't need a shield for protection because he was dipped into the waters of immortality by the fates. And the only place on poor Orion that was vulnerable was his ankle, which Scorpius absolutely takes advantage of. Okay, we've got the whole shape there. So now what we want to do, everybody, for his name is we want to write it in all capital letters, which I just call caps lock. And this is important, 5th grade, because the star names we're going to write in a different color in lowercase letters. Okay. See what I did there? Some of my high school students get confused by caps lock. I mean, on your device, if you hit the caps lock button, every letter is a capital letter. Okay, we've got Orion. Now, let's break out the secondary color right away. Let's just go crazy. Now, you don't have to do this part. I do it for a little bit of style, a little bit of flair. We're going to riz up a couple of these here. I like to kind of highlight the ones that we have to know to separate them from the other ones. So first off, we've got our armpit of the mighty one, and that's going to be Beetlejuice. Now for this one, friends, and all the stars and objects, look what Mr. Krug did here and try to do the same. Don't use all caps lock. Do like you would be writing your name. First letter, capitalize, rest lowercase. You might think, well, that's silly. Why am I going to take the time to do that? The reason is when you study your charts, everybody, the names for the stars will not only be in a different color, but they'll also be in lowercase letters. And that's how it's going to be really easy to tell them apart. Okay, so let's check it out. I've got Orion done. Then I've got Beetlejuice. I've got Rigel. And I've got M42, our Orion Nebula, right there in the Hunter's Sword, okay? All right, looking at the bell over there on the wall, looking at the clock over on the wall, jeez, looking at the clock over on the wall, the bell is about to ring to start my next teaching period. So we're going to have to stop right there, but we've got a good start so far. Notice how well we're matching over here. We're matching with Orion the Hunter. We've got Beetlejuice, Rigel, M42. Where we pick it up next, we're going to talk about his opponent on the skies of winter, the Great Bull of Taurus. Back in a little bit, everybody.